The things I thought, and I know people are going to think this, but once a year pest control, I was thinking it was just like a regular pest control company. They come out and they spray once a year, and then you just deal with the bugs for the rest of those 11 months.
Be Nice Individuals Podcast.
Hey folks, this is Thaddeus. I'm on the Be Nice Individuals Podcast, which is hosted here at the Flaglow Voice Studio. I have a very special guest in the studio, and I always say that, and I always mean it, but he is truly special. If you've met Brad Ward with Eagle Pest Solutions, you know the type of individual I'm talking about. He is a warm, kind-hearted soul out here supporting businesses, and it is my absolute pleasure to have him on. Brad Ward, how are you doing today?
Great. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you said you were nervous before.
Oh, you had to rat me out.
I see what you did there. You rat you out, you pests. You're getting started with the jokes early. I see what you did. No, but, sometimes people come on here and they're nervous. I'm like, look, it's just a conversation. We're just going to get on here and talk. There happen to be, some cameras. But the cool thing about coming into a podcast studio like this, we can always edit stuff out. And so you never have to worry about that. But this is a great way to connect to your audience, which you have a great following on social media. And this is really an opportunity to get those people to learn more about you.
Sure.
So, Brad, Eagle Pest Solutions, tell me more about it. How did it start? What's your origin story? Kind of like a superhero. What's your origin story?
Sure. So I moved down to Florida from Central Illinois in 2008. Started with Middleton Lawn and Pest Control, owned by Chuck Steinmetz, who was the originator of once a year pest control. So it's nothing new. But so worked for Middleton. Middleton ended up selling. So I worked for another company, and then I was recruited by another company based in Jacksonville. I worked for them for a few years. Decided it was time to start my own thing, our own thing. And so January 2nd, 2020, we started Eagle Pest Solutions, started doing business in the field. But it took about 9 months of planning, of talking to other business people in the pest control industry, including some mentors, some business mentors, researching to see exactly what we wanted to do. And we definitely came up with once a year pest control. We feel from doing once a year and quarterly that it's better for the customer. It's safer, better, less intrusive pest control. And it's better for the company as well, because we're only out once doing an inside and outside treatment, safe for people, safe for pets, covered all year long for free. Any service calls are covered. And so that's our biggest program. And then we have our Golden Eagle program, which is termite and pests combined together, lifetime termite warranty / bond, all-inclusive pest control, even bed bugs are covered. And then quarterly mosquito program to help protect people and their pups from mosquitoes for sure. I can tell you we did not plan for COVID. So we started January 2nd, 2020. So that made it a lot more difficult to brand that first year, but it was through business networking that got us through it. 2/3 of our business that first year came from business networking. So we're very thankful and blessed to know so many great other business owners, salespeople, managers, stuff like that.
And it seems like with Eagle Pest Solutions, that has stayed kind of a huge part of what you do.
Definitely.
Like I knew about you before I feel like I really knew you. It's Brad, like all over social media, which is fantastic because
everything good, I hope.
Oh yeah. But that's part of your brand and really getting out there, right. and to now have this opportunity here in studio to talk more about your brand. I absolutely love it. One of the things I thought, and I know people are going to think this, but once a year pest control, I was thinking it was just like a regular pest control company. They come out and they spray once a year, and then you just deal with the bugs for the rest of those 11 months. Tell me more about how that's different.
Definitely not. So how we're different than the average quarterly company.
Yeah.
And there's some great quarterly companies, but so we do the inside every year.
Okay.
Most quarterly companies, I won't mention any names, but they do the inside on the initial treatment, and then it's outside only from then on. unless you have an issue, and then they'll come inside. Products don't last that long. So we update the inside treatment every year. We don't do any spray inside. It's gel bait, dust, granular behind major appliances, deodorizing drains, overflow valves, doing a treatment in the attic, and we do some spray in the garage, outside. It's a big treatment, but it's safe for people and pets for sure. And we've never harmed a person or a pet, to my knowledge. And trust me, I would know about it. I would know about it. But the spray we use outside lasts all year instead of just 3 months. It's a more expensive product, but we feel it's better for the customer to just have a company out there doing a spray once rather than 4 times a year. So it's a lot less intrusive in that manner. Covered all year, though. We're known for fast service times, service response times. We're my business partner, Lee Parcells, and I both live in the B section, actually, of Palm Coast. We're locally owned. Lee's also a veteran, a 30-year veteran of the U.S. Army.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 8 years active duty, 2 tours in Iraq. Detonation specialist seems kind of dangerous to me.
That does.
Is what he did over there.
Yeah.
And then 22 years in the reserves. So,
Wow.
so we're locally owned and veteran owned. We're a company that's actually owned in Northeast Florida. So we cover Palm Coast, we cover St. Augustine, we cover Ormond Beach. And guess what? We're actually owned in Northeast Florida. I say that because a lot of companies and a lot of their customers don't know
Yeah.
that they're really owned in Atlanta, Georgia, or they're owned in the United Kingdom or Sweden even. And they don't advertise that. They tend to use the branding developed by a previous company that they bought and leave it at that. But so when you go with Eagle Pest, you're going with a local company. We put money back into Northeast Florida. We like to, from the Humane Society to a lot of veterans groups we do things with, put money back into the community. So it's not, you're not paying for your service and that part of it goes to Sweden or it goes to Atlanta, Georgia or somewhere.
Yeah.
And people like that. We have the personal touch. So
I love that. There's a couple of things you said there. One of the things is specifically about being local and in Palm Coast. There's not a lot of jobs, period, in Palm Coast. The industries, people, they live here, but then they work outside somewhere. And so tax dollars are moving outside, to different areas.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, you were talking about how a lot of these other pest control companies, they're owned by a larger conglomerate or whatever you might have. What's cool about you guys is the owners are here. So when you call the company, it's going to be Brad or it's going to be Lee, and you're going to actually get to talk to and Brad come out, actually sit down with one of the owners and not just, having to talk to somebody and eventually go way up the chain to somebody in Sweden.
Right. Yeah, customers like that. I mean, I'm coming out, doing the inspection myself, going over our programs with them, getting to know them. You're actually talking to the owner. The owner's not in Sweden or in Atlanta or wherever. And whether it's with Eagle Pest or another Northeast, for sure, you need to check to make sure they're located. The owner actually lives and puts money back into Northeast Florida. It's always better to go local, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Everything, Lee and I that we use, we try to use local. And that includes our friends that live in St. Augustine and our customers up there. We definitely spend money up in St. Augustine as well.
Yeah.
Trying to support different things as well because we're right here. So
that's wonderful. Nice to see that from a business owner, putting money back into the community, supporting other businesses. Because when you think like entrepreneurship, everybody's trying to kind of go towards the same goal. Everybody wants that sustainability. They want, their families taken care of. And so if we can help other small businesses to reach that goal, everybody kind of advances together.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. One of the cool things I was thinking about maybe a couple months ago is like, I want to support my friends and stuff because when I get to this level of success, wherever that might be, I want them to be there with me. I don't want to just be hanging out on this private island somewhere. Yeah, and I think you embody something very similar to that. You seem like you love this whole idea that I was kind of talking about.
Yeah, it's great networking, taking care of customers. The one guarantee I have for customers is we'll take good care of you. It's not, you're not going to see a bug or anything like that. It's realistic.
Yeah.
And they appreciate that. They know that if they need us, we'll be out as soon as we can to take care of them.
Sure.
And then other businesses, local businesses, as you know, I love networking, business networking, getting to know other entrepreneurs, business owners, sales managers, stuff like that, and to help each other, to give first. That's the biggest thing I enjoy about the networking groups I'm in, getting to learn about the other person, their business, and how I can help them. Mm-hmm. And like you said, if you can help other people, you're bringing everybody up together. So yeah, it's awesome.
Now, had you had much exposure to networking before you started your own company?
Great question. Great question. A little bit, not much. Not much, actually. I did, with the previous company I was with, I got in a networking group in Flagler County and was in that group for 2.5 years before the renewal came up to stay in it, and I knew I was starting Eagle Pest.
Yeah.
But with Eagle Pest, it's just ton more networking, and to me, that's the way to do it. If you get to know people, you like and trust them.
Yeah.
And when you refer somebody, your name goes with it. So if I refer Thaddeus with Power Solar, it's because I like and trust him, and I know he's going to take care of the customer just like Eagle Pest tries to do every customer. So.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Before I moved to Florida, I didn't know there was this whole culture of networking. You know, just being in law enforcement.
Oh, right.
I didn't network, really. I mean, I suppose you could say you had informants and stuff like that. You could call that network. But
well, that's where you got your original networking in it.
I guess so. But for me, when I came here, not knowing anybody, networking was huge.
Right.
Like you can join different networking groups, and overnight, people know you and your brand.
Right.
And that's obviously been instrumental with Eagle Pest Solutions.
Definitely.
I love the once a year, especially it kind of going back to the once a year, especially with the snowbirds down here and people coming and going. I think it's phenomenal.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them. I know occasionally someone's not sure about the once a year, and we just say try it for a year, see how you like it.
Yeah.
And almost every time. This is great. I see.
Yeah.
And I also explain to them, we do the inside and the outside every year with the best products compared to your average quarterly. After that initial inside, they're just outside only. They're not using that much product. Even though we treat once and they treat 4 times, who do you think spending more on products for the year? Eagle Pest Solutions. That's it. We know that because Lee and I both, for other companies, have done once a year, and we've done the quarterly. When the quarterlies do their quarterly, it's an outside spray, maybe some granular or something. That's about it. They're there 15, 20 minutes maybe.
Right.
We do a full inside, outside, a lot of product, but in the right spot, safe. We're not doing their inside spray. Very rarely do we have to do that. Maybe if you get like fleas and ticks, we may have to do an inside spray or aerosol, or you get a bad case of German roaches or something, but on the standard we don't. So there's no airborne particles.
Yeah.
And that's why part of why Chuck Steinmetz, going back to who started All American, that did all the pest control for Sears back in the day, and also on Middleton, that's why he started it, because it's a better treatment, it's better for the customer, and it's safer, which is awesome.
Yeah. Bugs don't die in the same way as St. Louis, where I came from.
Oh, yeah.
So these bugs are becoming mutants. Becoming mutants, so to speak. And if that's something you can take off your plate, you can be more safe.
Right.
Why not? I mean, you talked about, though, too, with the mosquito treatments. And, that was something I've forgotten. As far as dogs go, that the mosquitoes are carrying certain things that it affects them with, was it heartworm and stuff like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Carrying the larva.
Forgot completely about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a reason why a lot of people get the quarterly mosquito. Maybe where they live, there's standing water close by behind them, or the neighbors, or they're on a preserve or the swamp or whatnot. So they have that breeding area for mosquitoes. And yeah, they like Dr. Jack, the vet in one of the networking groups we are in. He sees that, I'm sure, a lot.
Yeah.
Dogs coming in with heartworm, and it's from mosquitoes carrying that larva. And when they bite them, basically inject that larva into the dogs.
Well, one thing I like to point out is we're in Palm Coast. Whenever it rains, there's standing water. All the swells, they just become mini ponds, and then you have all these tadpoles and all the incessant like chirping or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
But the mosquitoes in the summertime, I remember just walking down the street and I'm just being swarmed with mosquitoes.
Yeah, it's
you
been
know,
bad
walking the dog.
recently. It's been bad recently once we started getting a lot more of that rain and the standing water.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, we had, when we first moved to Palm Coast 2008, there was a storm that set off the coast for a week.
Yeah.
A week of rain. And our swell kept getting closer with water, kept getting closer and closer to the house. It got about, and it was originally, the roads probably for that house was probably 40 feet away. And it got to about 10 feet from our house.
Oh, no.
Finally, stopped raining.
Oh.
Finally, it stopped raining.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that just shows you, and they have been doing a better job trying to make the swells better, but they're overall, they're supposed to hold water.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
but mosquitoes love that. So
Right.
like when we do a mosquito treatment, we will put larvicide in the swells.
Nice.
That way, when that happens, they're not going to be able to breed there. And it just takes like a day and they're there because they have their eggs there.
Yeah.
So it takes care of that, which is good.
So one thing that I have wanted back in St. Louis, and you might get a kick out of this.
Cardinals to win the World Series every year.
Hey,
I'm a Cardinals fan.
Yes, that too. But I wanted a bat house
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because the mosquitoes are flying around, and the bats fly around. They eat a lot of mosquitoes. Problem is, my wife threatened to divorce me.
Most people would probably agree with her on that.
But now, if you're controlling the mosquito population, now we're protecting the fur babies and
Right.
Gizmo,
Right.
who we didn't actually talk about Gizmo. But
Yeah.
Gizmo is part of the reason, I'm sure, that you guys wanted the mosquito prevention, just
Oh,
because
definitely.
you're of that mindset. You want to protect your fur baby.
Oh, definitely. And Lee's got 2 dogs as well.
Okay.
Matthew, our best technician,
Mhm.
he's got a dog, Earl.
Yeah.
So we all love dogs. Love Gizmo. He's
Yeah.
like Barb and I, our baby, basically.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But I wanted to jump back just for a second, if I can.
Sure.
Yeah. You talk about bats. They are beneficial for the most part.
But they carry diseases.
But they can help, and they're not really violent or anything like that.
Yeah.
Also, dragonflies.
Mm-hmm.
They help. They eat the dog mosquitoes as well. Having said that, most people don't want bats or dragonflies all around their house.
Yeah. Brad, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you in studio. Shout out your contact information so people know how to reach out to you so that you can come out and give them a quote, have a conversation
Sure,
in
absolutely.
their home. Brad is super approachable. I'm saying this. Brad isn't paying me to say this, but he's super approachable. He's a good-hearted person, like Brad a lot. And so shout out your contact information so that people can get in contact with you
Sure.
and so they can learn more about your offerings.
Okay, definitely. First, I want to say that when I come out to visit with people, I want to get to know the people. You know, what makes them tick, who they are. A lot of great people I get to meet from all over the place that moved to St. Augustine, that moved to Palm Coast. A lot of great stories. One from yesterday. I'm not going to go into details, but I almost cried. Almost cried from it. But as well as, and I always tell people, I like you. Like, I like you, Thaddeus. If you had a dog, odds are I'm going to like that dog better. 'Cause I love dogs.
Yeah.
I love dogs. I like cats too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that goes back to why Thaddeus knows I bring up Gizmo quite a bit. He's on my business card. People don't notice that I'm on there too. They just say, "Oh, he's so cute." They're talking about Gizmo. But yeah, I can come out, do a free inspection, see what's going on, help you identify any kind of bugs, make sure you don't have termites. If you're concerned with mosquitoes, go over what we're able to do to help you. Our office number is 386-445-7414. That's 386-445-7414. We answer the phone 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. We have office staff that answers the phone, so you're not usually not going to get a recording unless they're just slammed somehow.
Yeah.
My email is brad@eaglepestsolutions.com, brad@eaglepestsolutions.com. You can always email me. Or my cell phone, and this is cell phone number for one of the two owners. You're not going to have that with a lot of other companies. It's 386-283-0955, 386-283-0955. Text me anytime. If it's after 9 o'clock at night, I'm not going to see it till I wake up, just so you know. Or you can call me, and I will get back to you. We're very approachable. Lee, great guy. He's our service manager, and as we keep building the company, people love Lee, love his personality. He knows bugs inside and out. He's basically like an entomologist. He knows the products, tests the products. We're always here to do what's best for the customers.
Folks, again, reach out to Brad and Lee with Eagle Pest Solutions. Make sure to get them to your home. Give them that free quote. See what your home actually needs. You know, they help with making sure your home is safe, using safe products, giving high quality products to that home. Also, making sure your fur babies are safe. You know, you got the mosquitoes that are carrying various diseases. Again, it's been an absolute pleasure to have Brad in the studio. Again, this is Flag of Voice Podcast Studio. The space is for rent for any business owner that wants to come in, shout out their business, shout out their ideas. Maybe if somebody has an idea, they want to talk, have their own podcast here. All that is possible. Again, this is Thaddeus, Be Nice Individuals Podcast, and we'll see you next time.